What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of Peyton Corners. Today's episode is a little different. Today, in the first episode we recorded yesterday that came out yesterday, the first episode was about breaking down the playoff format and the just altogether what's going to be going down this postseason that's starting later this month. In that episode, you guys saw me as the host, and my special guest was Charlie Jones of the Astros in our league. Today's podcast and the rest of our podcast will be a little different. Me and Charlie will both be hosting every podcast from now on, and we'll be having a separate guest along with the two of us. Today's guest is none other than Andrew Shorey of the Cubs, one of the 4 rookies in this season. Andrew, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Charlie, anything to say?
Let's get right into this episode.
All right, here we go. So in today's podcast, Andrew will be asking you some questions, me and Charlie. So
All right.
I'll go first with questions. So this year you went 4-6 overall, and your pitching record was 3-6, 3 home runs, and I believe 5th in the league in RBIs with 29. Here's my first question. How would you rate your season out of 10 in your rookie year?
In a rookie season, I would have to rate it at a solid 5.
So 5, okay.
I didn't
Okay, keep going.
perform the way that I expected to,
Okay.
but I didn't do that bad.
Okay, and just to add on to that, I think I would definitely give your season higher than a 5 in my opinion. I truly think that, I'll be honest, I said this in the first podcast when we were talking about the postseason, when we were talking about the Cubs and their situation in the standings. Me and Charlie both agreed on this when we said you would come in, nobody had ever seen you play before, and really nobody knew what to expect, and you came in and surprised a lot of people. We look at one of your first win of the season, dating back to Ebbets Field. Your first one came against the Rockies, against who was also a rookie, Logan Gaffney of the Rockies. You won that game 5-3, hitting 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. And you also beat 2-time World Series MVP and 3-time NL MVP Tyler Wagner in a straight-up 1v1 at the home opener at Pillsbury Park, 1-0. So it was definitely an impressive season for you by yourself, and there's definitely some bright things to come for the Cubs. Charlie, you have to add anything?
Yeah, I would also definitely rate your season over than a 5. The record really doesn't show how well you actually did this year. You had a great first game. You kept it really close. You were just great throughout the season, and I think you've got a lot to look forward to. Yeah.
I felt like that my pitching is what kept me in most of my games.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that. On some of your games, your pitching could have been better, but also in some of your games, we saw you go out there and pitch phenomenally. In the 2-game series with the Phillies, which I don't think we have to remind the fans of the success that the Phillies have had this season offensively. They lead the league in I believe they lead the league in runs total. They scored 19 against the Angels in one game with 9 home runs at Pillsbury Park. We remember that game. Phillies at Angels, 9 home runs in that game for Wagner. We've brought that up multiple times. Against him, though, in the 2-game series, you only gave up 1 run in 2 combined games to one of our best hitters in the league, which was phenomenal. You also only gave up 3 runs to Gaffney on the Rockies. So in some games this year, you pitched incredible. And, yeah. Charlie, your turn.
Yeah, just to touch on that a tiny bit, I definitely agree that I think the pitching was really what kept you in this, and you were only eliminated from the playoff race really recently. You stuck in there the entire time, and you really had a chance. And so from that, like, you've had many ups and downs during your rookie year. It's been a great rookie year. You're the first rookie in MLWB history to score 10-plus runs in your first game, which was a great game against me at Ritz Park. So I just want to know, what has been your favorite moment from this season?
For my team personally, or could it be as a sub? Or
Both.
home opener. Not home opener, but probably the first home run at Advocare.
That's a good answer.
Definitely.
I think if I may, I think
Back off to you, James.
yeah, I think that moment that Andrew just said, his favorite moment of his rookie year, his home run at Advocare Park. Although he wasn't for the Cubs, so the home run didn't count in his stats, but that home run and that highlight will go down as like one of, I think, when we look back on this 5 to 10 years later, that home run or that highlight will be one of the most popular, one of the most famous highlights our league will ever have. I think that was such a great moment. It was not just any home run either, a grand slam to extend the lead to 9 for the Brewers, and you really helped them out that day. And yeah, that was an incredible moment and a great answer from you, Andrew.
Can I just touch on that a tiny bit?
Sure, go right ahead.
What I think was the funniest part of that moment, it was a great moment. First home run at Advocare Park, which, in my opinion, is the best park in the league at this moment.
Agreed.
But the funniest part was you hit it one-handed. What was going through your mind? Were you just like, I'm just gonna swing it one-handed and hit a bomb? Was that?
No. What was going through my mind was, it's early in the morning. Let's just have fun with this. Let's go one-handed for the game. So. I believe I had that game 8 RBIs, a grand slam, and like 2 triples.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. That's another great answer from you, Andrew. It's early in the morning. Let's have some fun, is what you said. That's a great answer. I think that's one of the reasons why the Cubs had one of the biggest fan bases this season. I'm pretty sure just everybody loved watching you. You were an entertaining player all season. Even when when you wanted to goof around, when you were going serious and you wanted to really go out there and win. There were some games where I could tell some of the players were really scared to face you, including myself. You and I had a 2-game series. I mean, I know my season was very successful, but you were very close to beating me in that one game. You're one of the best hitters in the National League this season, or the entire league, in my opinion. And you can really do some damage in the next few years in the Mlwb, that's for sure.
My goal is just improve on this. 4-6 this season is not what I wanted to come out of this. But next season, I'm going to say I'm going to make a harder attempt at making the playoffs.
Yeah. Charlie, you have to add anything before my next question?
I just wanted to say that I really do feel that not only with the Cubs, but the number one thing that is great in our league is that it's all about fun.
Right.
If you make it into the postseason, great. If you don't, better luck next year. But no matter what, we're all having fun here, and we're all loving it. And I think that's just a great part of the atmosphere of the league.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think, like, we've seen... I know, Charlie, like, last year you missed the postseason by 1 game, but I know you were, one of the guys that really wanted to go out there and give it your all and just to have fun out there. I mean, you'd show up making jokes and making everybody smile. Even if your record wasn't, like, incredible, you were just a ton of fun, tons of fun to play with. And it's same thing with Andrew this season. So, honestly, if I could compare you to the 2019 Charlie Jones, the rookie in the season, came close to winning Rookie of the Year and missed the playoffs by a game. It looks as if almost the same thing is going to happen to you, missing the playoffs by just a game, one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year. So if you're following Charlie Jones' path, you'll come first in your conference next year. So fingers crossed for you, Andrew.
Hopefully.
All right, my second question for you, Andrew, is how confident are you in winning the Rookie of the Year this season?
I have great rookies this year. I mean, we've got Rockies, Logan Gaffney, who is, 5-3?
Yeah, 5-3.
Very good chance of winning Rookie of the Year. We got Chris Costanzo of the Angels, which is who? I believe he's 4-6 too.
4-6. Yep.
Hard favorite. We have some great moments of him. And we have Dylan Wagner. What's his record? 5-2.
5-2. Correct.
Oh, very good favorite. But I think that it's going to come down to who has done more this season. But personally, I think I have a really good chance of winning it.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that totally. Personally, my opinion is, I don't think you were mainly talking about just like teams' records, right there. I think there's a lot more to that in winning Rookie of the Year. I'll be honest, I still have no clue who I'm voting for. We still got Dylan Wagner and Logan Gaffney who have not finished their seasons, so can't exactly submit my vote yet, but it's gonna come down to the wire. And records aren't the only thing to look at. You also have to look at some stats, which you had some great stats this season. And overall, just even when you weren't playing for your team, like you subbed in for the Brewers at Advocare Park, you were subbing in for a few other teams this season, like the Rockies. Altogether, you had a great season, and personally, I think you have a great chance of winning a Rookie of the Year. Anything you have to add to that, Charlie?
Yeah, Andrew, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You're in my top two, man. And it's really gonna come down to not only how the records unfold for the rest of the year, but another thing that I feel you really have to look at for this award is you gotta look at quality of win, and you gotta look at not only games that they were playing in, like as their team, but as well as the sub role. And I feel that Andrew killed it as a sub this year.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I just think that he's such a solid player, and he proved himself in this first year. He proved himself, and he showed that he has a spot in this league as one of the top hitters and one of the top pitchers. And I really think you got a good shot, man. I really do.
Yeah. All right, Charlie, you can if Andrew's ready, you can go ahead with your next question for him.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So I touched on how you had many ups and downs throughout the season. You had some great wins. You had some tough losses. It was just a really great season overall from you. So to touch on that ups and downs thing, I just want to know, what do you feel are going to be your biggest strengths and weaknesses going forward from this season?
One of my biggest strengths is the pitching and the hitting side of the factor. My hitting will improve because like James said, I only have 3 home runs, which I could get hold of the ball, but I just didn't go the length. And a weakness is I also got to work on the accuracy of my pitching, because sometimes it can get wild and can go wherever it goes. But I'm hoping to improve that for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, where you were saying how you only had 3 home runs. You also did have some when you were a sub. You were an incredible sub this season for many teams this year. Altogether, just a great rookie year. So, Charlie, you can go ahead with your next question if you want. Or is it my turn?
I believe it is your turn.
I think it's James' turn.
Okay, yeah, all right. So my next question for you, Andrew, is what can you do personally to improve in the 2021 season? Now, I know it's early. Before you answer, I know it's early to be focusing on next season, but I just want to know what you can do to improve for 2021.
Well, to improve for 2021, I didn't really think about this one. I could definitely improve on, when I was in the field a little bit, when I played duos, I did make a couple errors that I should not have made, that I should have, easy plays. But, yeah, most of my plays should just happen on the offensive side of the field, which should also use some work. Me, just as an all-around player, just needs to be a little bit worked on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we saw some great games from you pitching wise. There weren't really many games where you gave up a ton of runs. Your first game against the Astros, I believe, was the most runs you gave up. You gave up 11 runs in that game. After that, I don't think you gave up even close to that many runs the rest of the season, really, if I believe I'm correct when I say that.
I believe the closest game after that was to the Dodgers when I lost 9-0. I think that was the last one that was that high.
If I'm being honest with you, you really only had one game this year where the Cubs really didn't have a chance to win, and it was that one. That was the only game where I think people, like, I just think that was your only game that wasn't, like, extremely competitive. Even your first game, you gave up 11 runs to the Astros, but you scored 10 runs. The first and second inning, you scored 5 runs each. You had 10 RBIs in that game, multiple triples off the wall in Ritzfield, and we know in Ritzfield that center field wall is very high and very deep. I'm sure Charlie can agree with that. That's his home field, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just to touch on what we were saying real quick, you really were a great pitcher this year. I remember there was one day you finished up a 2-game series against me, and you played a game against another Rookie of the Year candidate, Logan Gaffney, from the Rockies, and you threw 10 strikeouts with one pitching win, and you had 2 home runs in that day. That's a great, really, really solid day from you. And after that, it only got better. You had a 10-0 win against the Brewers. You had a 5-2 win against the Angels. You really kept it close in every one of your games, and their only game that really wasn't that close was that Dodgers game. And I just feel that you've got a lot to look forward to, man. You're such a promising player and such a promising team, and I think next year you're gonna have to expect very big things from the Cubs.
Hopefully, we can see a good outcome next season.
Yeah. Charlie, you can go ahead with your next question when you're ready.
So talking about expecting big things from you, I have to ask the big question. How do you feel you're going to do next season? I'm thinking record, and I'm thinking home runs and pitching wins. What do you think your pitching record's going to be, and what do you think your actual record's going to be, and how many home runs you predict?
Well, let's start off. I hope I get more than 3 home runs. I'm hoping my goal for next season is just gonna get 15. That is my goal.
Wow.
Record. Are we doing a 10-game season next season?
Yes. We keep in mind with this question. Next year, this is not official yet, but there is a possibility we will be changing to teams of 2 next season. Once again, this is not official. This is just an idea. We may be sticking to teams of 1, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if I'm correct when I say this, but I'm pretty sure Charlie is asking the question as if we're doing teams of 1 next year in a 10-game series. Yeah. So yeah, just pretend as if next year we are going to do teams of 1 in a 10-game season, which is most likely, but let's just say we're doing that.
My goal for next season is, for record-wise, is to go 6-4 or 7-3.
Okay. That would be a big jump from 4-6.
I'm trying to get equal to or more wins than losses.
That's a great goal. Charlie, you can take over here since it was your question.
Yeah, I really think that that's a reasonable expectation, because even though the record sat at 4-6 this year, it really did not seem like it was going to be that way. I thought you were going to end up at least 6-4 this season, and I would not be surprised to see you go 6-4, 7-3 next season, and I think you'll definitely make the playoffs, and I think you've got a great chance in that next year.
Well, as you said, most of my losses, I think one of them was a blowout, and then the rest of them was to the final inning. None of them were very close.
Yeah. Even I think if I may add to what Charlie said, he said that that's a reasonable expectation for next season, 6-4, 7-3. He also, I agree with that, and he also said it didn't feel like a 4-6 season. It felt more like 6-4, a good record, like Charlie said. By the way you played this season, it felt like a better season than 4-6. I mean, you got to keep in mind there was, I think every game this season was like, almost every game was like a true game to watch, like a game of the year candidate. It was down to the wire in pretty much every game. Even your first ever game in Cubs franchise history in MLWB. You lost game 11-10 in 7 innings. At the time, it was the longest game in MLWB history. Eventually, later in the season, that record would be broken by the Yankees and Phillies. But at the time, it was the longest game in MLWB history. It's still currently the longest game in Ritz Field history. I mean, even you look at your first win against the Rockies, your win against the Phillies, that I think that went 8 innings against the Phillies when you won 1-0. Even your loss against the Phillies 1-0. Tyler Wagner solo home run. After that, you pitched great, but he's also a great pitcher, so you can't be too disappointed when you don't get too many runs off of him. So
Yeah.
if I'm being honest with you, I truly believe this is why, like, I remember once on the Instagram account that I run for Mlwb Ball, I asked on a poll on the story who your favorite team is, and I'm pretty sure most of the people said Cubs. So according to that poll, the Cubs have one of the biggest fan bases in the league, and I really think that's why. I think, if I'm being honest, even including myself, the Cubs are the most entertaining team to watch in the MLWB right now.
I would most definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
If I said one of my personal favorite games this year that I played in had to be Cubs Brewers final game of the season, where it came down to the final inning.
That was a classic game.
Yeah, great game right there.
If I may, that was on the Instagram account. That was ranked the second greatest game in MLWB history. This is our 7th season, and that was ranked the second greatest game ever. I know the Cubs didn't come on top on that game, but keep in mind that was a 9-inning game. That is the first game in MLWB history that was supposed to be 9 innings. We've had 9-inning games before, but they were supposed to be either 3, 5, or 7, not 9. We've never had a true 9-inning game where we said, like, let's do 9 innings. We've never planned on doing 9 innings, you know what I mean? So that was just an incredible game, and the first 7 innings, you gave up no runs. The Brewers had runners in scoring position, or at least runners on base, every single inning, and you got out of it every single inning. But I just think on the Brewers that day was McCabe and Schultz. They ended up just taking advantage of it, and they were able to make good contact and win that game in the last 2 innings. But
yeah, like I said, last 2 innings of that game, my fielding was not the best. The pitching was not as accurate as it was in the first 7 innings. I don't know how to explain what happened. Had a great fielder in John.
Right.
But, just did not have the outcome that I wanted to.
Yeah. Even in so you went 4 wins, 6 losses. In those 6 losses, there was 1, maybe 2 games that I said, yeah, you got outplayed. Maybe. The rest of your losses, I'd say you deserve to win those games. I mean, there was some heartbreak. I'm not here to put you down, but there were so many losses you had this season that were, like, so close, down to the wire. I mean, we look at the Phillies one. You lost 1-0. Against the Brewers, it was 5-4. Against the Astros, it was 2-0. Against the Astros, it was 11-10. Almost every single one of your losses were either by 1 or 2. So, incredible season by you so far. Anything to add to that, Charlie?
The only thing that I can really think of is I just want to touch on that strength of pitching. Whenever you were stuck in a jam, you really weren't. You got out of it. And I think that quality in a pitcher in this league is so important. Because if you can't get out of a jam, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're stuck. And I just think that you were really great at this year. I think that you're going to be one of the best pitchers in the league next year. I think you're definitely going to be a Cy Young candidate. And I think you've got a lot to look forward to.
Even what Charlie said about Cy Young right there, even this season, I think you got a good chance at Cy Young. Once again, tough competition in the National League, but
I am going up against James Torillo, who pitched phenomenally. I believe this whole season he gave up 2 runs, James, is that right? You gave up
That
2
is,
runs?
yeah, that's correct. 2 runs against none other than Charlie Jones on opening day. Gave up a 2-run home run to him, his first home run of the season.
We got the Mets.
So yeah, he gave up 8 runs to the Dodgers in one game. He shut out the Phillies. He also pitched incredible. It's going to be tough competition for Cy Young and Rookie of the Year from Dylan Wagner, but you've got a good chance in both of those. I believe it's my turn to ask a final question.
I believe so.
All right. So this is my final question for you today, Andrew. I want to know, this was your first year in your MLWB career. What are you looking forward to most in your entire MLWB career altogether?
Well, of course, I want to be able to win the World Series. I'm not saying next year. I'm saying in the future. And hopefully I'm going to be able to be most improved next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's impossible for the rookie to win most improved because you can't improve from anything, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think next season is going to be a year to watch out for the Cubs. And I totally agree with what you said, and I'm sure that's everybody's goal, win a World Series in the MLWB. I know Charlie has the same goal for this season. He's clinched a playoff spot. This is his first time playing in the postseason. I'm sure he has the same goal, make it to the World Series, win the World Series. That's every player's goal in the league. And, yeah, anything to add to that, Charlie?
Nope, I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions for him, Charlie?
No, I just want to say, I think you had a really great rookie season, man. I think you've, once again, like I've said a lot, I think you've got a lot to look forward to. I think you're going to have a really prominent season next year. I think next year's going to really be that breakout year. As we've seen with last year's rookies, this year, their sophomore year in the league has been the great one, and I think that's going to happen for you too. And I think that you've really got a great shot at making the World Series and possibly even winning it next year.
Yeah.
For that.
Just a lot to look forward to. Just a great pitcher, a great hitter, and a great player.